Good morning and welcome to Reveal and Heal podcast. I'm so glad that you are tuning in. I want you to share. Make sure that you let everyone know that Reveal and Heal podcast live is on. My name is Coach Deb. Now remember this. If you don't reveal then you can't be healed. Let me repeat that again. If you don't reveal, then you won't heal. You have to heal. And the only way you heal is by revealing. That is so very important. We have a guest today, Larry Cothran. He's going to share an amazing story. And this story, of course, is going to be a story of transparency. I'm hoping that you will get something from this that will help you to move on to the next level. This is new week, new goals. So I want you to be mindful that it's very important that you forget about yesterday and focus on today. Please follow us on all social media, Facebook and Instagram at Relationship Lounge 19. Welcome, sir. How are you this morning?
Well, I'm blessing the Lord, highly favored, excited about Jesus, excited about the word of God. My cup is running over and I still want some more. How about you?
Y'all, if anybody know Larry Cothran, that shouldn't have surprised you that he came out of the gate like he did. Oh my God, he is a number. He's a many things, which is also a comedian, which reminds me, let me tell the people a little bit about you for them that don't know you.
Okay.
Larry Cothran is an author, speaker, entrepreneur, and evangelist. He's an energetic person full of life and zeal. He's a man that wants to see all succeed, and he uses his positivity to help push people into their destiny. Larry has managed to beat the odds, and he uses his story to inspire others to get started with the next level of their lives and move into new direction and more direction. That's very impressive, Larry. You are a young man, and you got a lot to share. I don't even really know where to begin. I know I'm interested on the book, about the book. And I believe you said the name of the book, More Than a Conqueror. So we're going to get to that. But I want to talk about you as a boy, because the topic is it takes a village, a communal effort. And I'm so interested in knowing, who your village was and how your village made a difference in where you are today. Let's begin there.
Okay, so I grew up in Rome, Georgia. I grew up in East Rome, and then we transitioned to North Rome. Then we moved to the projects, Reservoir, the jungles, the bricks, Bucktown as they call it. And so, but in that time, I went to church every Sunday. Now I want you to, that's my substratum. That's my base right there. I'm gonna bring out the Noel Jones for a minute. I know you don't probably have a thesaurus with you, but that's my substratum right there. I went to church every Sunday, but I didn't miss a Sunday of church until I went to college. I went to Alabama State University for 1 year. So, but before that, I never missed a Sunday at church. But me coming up, this is how it went. I grew up in a crazy household. I've seen my mom and my dad try to commit suicide. I've seen my mom and my dad locked up in the mental institutions. I wet the bed till I was like 12 or 13 years old. And I'm going to pause right there because I'm going to let some people laugh. It's okay. I'm healed now. He's telling me, hey, man, I got to wear a raincoat to bed just to go to, because we used to sleep in the same bed. He said, man, I got to wear a raincoat to bed just to go to bed with Larry because he could pee on me. And so my cousin and they used to call me Mr. Peabody. My cousin used to call me Mr. Peabody, but I used to hate that. Yeah.
I know.
And so, so then after that, I was always getting in trouble, always running with the wrong crowd. I had 2 felonies by the age of 12. I went to when I was in 5th grade, I started selling marijuana, and so when I was selling marijuana in the 5th grade, I was selling it on and off. I sold that all the way until like the 7th or 8th grade, and so then I met this guy. I got kicked out of school in the 7th grade because I brought a weapon to school, and I had to go to alternative school. End up failing alternative school. End up failing 7th grade and had to repeat that grade. And so after that, that's when I switched over in like 7th or 8th grade and started selling crack, cocaine. And so we were selling that, running with the wrong crowd and everything. And then I had people that was around me. But one of the things I had was I had a gift. Okay. I had a gift to play the drums. Okay. And so even though I was doing all this stuff, I was going to church every Sunday and I was playing the drums. And so I think that one thing right there is the thing
Mm,
that was the bait. It was the hook that was able to pull me out of where I was at. Because I always that was younger than me. I always hung around older people, people that had more wisdom than I did, and I would always hang around them. And so what happened was I was playing drums, and I figured I was okay for how I was and where I was at and everything like that. But then, like in the ninth grade, what happened was my cousin had asked me. He said, "Hey man," because I was playing for in the seventh to eighth grade. I was playing for the Color Connection at Rome High School. It was like this choir or whatever. They had a step team and stuff like that right there. So I would play drums for them. And so when I was in ninth grade, my cousin Corey, he was like, "Hey man, um, it's this choir that just started at Floyd Junior College called All About Jesus. You want to play for him?" Now at the time they didn't have no name, and so he was like,
okay.
"Hey, you want to play for him?" And I was like, "Yeah, man." So and that was my passion right there, playing the drums. I was like, "Man, shoot, yeah, I get over there and play the drums," even though I was selling dope, even though I was doing all that stuff. So it was 1997, August of 1997, when he asked me to play drums for them. So I started playing drums for them, and after I started playing drums for them, um, I was hanging around older people that was in college and stuff, people that had a different mindset than the one I had. And
Okay.
and my cousin asked me to play drums, so I'm sitting there playing drums. And November of 1997 was my last time selling crack cocaine. February of 1998 was my last time smoking weed, and I got saved March 28, 1998. And
All right
so
now.
and so the only time, so since that point right there, I went to I got them felonies for stealing, shoplifting and stuff. So and eluding the police. So running from the police. Um so after that, while I was playing for them, like stuff started changing in my life. And so I stopped hanging around the wrong people I was hanging around and stuff like that. And there was this one gentleman that I just automatically gravitated to that I've never met before. His name was Eric Mosley, and he was like a big brother to me. And so I started hanging around him, and he would come pick me up for choir practice and stuff, man. And the crazy thing is, see, we was so in love with Jesus, so in love with the Word. And he had this blue Corsica, and man, he would come pick me up in that Corsica with like people that was preaching and had it turned all the way up loud coming down the street. I was so embarrassed about it, like, man, why are you playing this coming down Reservoir? Like, and then the word, the Bible said that everybody knows that's Larry Ride right there. You know? And so it was him, it was his father, um it was the people that I was around that wanted to be better. It was Mr. Mosley. It was Miss Mosley. It was Beth Mosley. It was Jory Mosley. It was Media Mosley. It was my family, my friends, some of the people that I was around. They made you get better. You see what I'm saying?
Mm,
If I tell people like this right here, like my father, I seen him every day, but it ain't like he was there. You see what I'm saying?
okay. Okay.
Because he was addicted to crack. You see what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
so he wasn't there every day. So uh, Eric Mosley stepped up and kind of like became my father. You see what I'm saying? And kind of, uh, switched things around for me. And him and Media Mosley, and it was them. It was their family. It was the connection we made with other people um, that I was around at the time. Those were
Mm-hmm.
the people right there that helped make and mold me, because before then I was being made and molded by movies. You see what I'm saying? Because when I was younger, as you would read in my book, when I was younger, I wanted to be a drug lord. When I was like in the first grade, you know what I'm saying? Because my dad, he used to work for this wealthy guy, and man, sometimes I'd be at the house. I was in first grade. I'd be looking outside, and my dad be putting up in this Jaguar and all these expensive cars and stuff. And man, we're living in a house. We're living in a duplex, a one-bedroom duplex that's probably the size that's smaller than the size of this guy that he works for, smaller than his half court of his basketball court. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
And so we living in something that small, and you know, it was just crazy the way we grew up. But I had a collective group of people that was around me that helped me, that pushed me. And if it wasn't for those collective groups of people, and it was different people in different parts of my life too. You know what I'm saying? Because at one time I had one individual, and then at another time somebody else would come along, and then it was somebody else that would come along. And I always hated, like, people used to always try to be my mentor. I hated that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This one dude, he tried to be my mentor when I was like in elementary school. He took me to go eat one time at McDonald's, and I wanted a Big Mac, and he was like, "Man, you gonna be able to eat all that?" Man, yeah, I'm gonna be able to eat all that. Man, I'm hungry. He took me one time to McDonald's to go get something to eat, and we talked about like stuff that was so surface. It was crazy. And then he never came back, you know. And then I guess it was somebody like Eric Mosley that knew how to handle me. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody else that would talk to me, they didn't know they didn't know how to reach me. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's it.
They didn't,
That's it.
and they didn't know how to reach me because they didn't never talk to me.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? They didn't never question me because people always say, if you had something to change right now, if you had to change somebody right now, or if you would go back and talk to yourself, what would you ask yourself, or what would you tell yourself? I said, first of all, I just listen to you. Because why would I tell you, hey, look, man, I think you need to really go be an electrician, and I'm trying to push you to go be an electrician. Like, don't push me to go be an electrician. I hate lightning, and I done got shocked before. I don't want to be no electrician. And so
And how would they know that? How would they know that if they hadn't heard your story?
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? And so it's kind of like going fishing. And here's a marketing tip right here that you can. It's like going fishing. Like, you're not gonna go fishing for a shark with a worm on a little bitty bass hook. You see what I'm saying? You got to put the right bait on the right hook to be able to attract the right fish that you're trying to catch. Oh, it's quiet in this Presbyterian church tonight.
Now, I can appreciate your village. We could just thank God that he sent the right people at the right time. Of course, there were other people that tried. They just couldn't reach you. But of course, now let's transition to, what was it like in school? Were you a college student when you met the Mosley family? You didn't mention it. You were, right?
No, I went to college, but I met the Mosley family when I was in the 9th grade. Yeah, I was in the 9th grade
so
when I met them.
Oh, it wasn't college. It was high school.
Yeah, it was high school in the 9th grade. Yep.
Okay, and of course, they were with you throughout high school and college.
And college, yeah. I did 3 years in college, and after that I was finished. So
were there other people like teachers or professors or anyone else that influenced you in any way or recognized your potential or spoke into your life that you were gonna accomplish your dreams?
Not really accomplish my dream, but I did have this one guy named Franco Perkins. He used to always, me and him, like, I started 9th grade and he started, and he was the coach. He had just started at Rome High School my 9th grade year. And so he would always be like, come on, Larry, I know you can do better than that. And always push me to do stuff, you know what I'm saying? And always, I think he seen something in me that he would always push me and be like, come on, Larry, you got to do better than that. Even though he would come pick me up on the van to go to football practice and stuff like that. And I'd be doing some old crazy stuff. He'd be like, man, you got to do better than that, Larry. And so it was him. And I seen, it wasn't too many other teachers that really just stuck out to me, that sticks out to me now, that really like said, hey man, you can go do this and you can go do that. I did have one experience, and this is crazy right here, because this right here just changed. It changed, like, I was telling somebody this story like 3 years ago. One of my good friends, Philip Edge, and I told him, I said, man, I remember when I was in high school, when I was in 12th grade, and I was trying to get out of Rome. I was trying to get out of the projects, and I was trying to do better for myself. And I thought I wanted to go to college. That was my ultimate goal in life. I was like, man, I got to go to college, man. And and you know how you take the SAT? I know I didn't do good on the SAT the first time. I took it again. I did okay on it. You see what I'm saying? And so I went to school. And when I went to school, you know how the counselor, they'll call you up there and tell you what all you could be. So I'm walking to the counselor's office. They don't call my name. I'm walking to the counselor's office, and I hear my heart go boo boo,
Yes.
boo boo. It's like it's going in slow motion, boom boom. So I get up there, and the counselor ain't ready for me yet. And so it's like 5 minutes. So she was like, okay, we'll be out here in 5 minutes. I said, okay. So I'm sitting up there in the counselor's office, and I'm thinking like, man, she about to tell me I could be a doctor or a lawyer or something. But I get up there and I sit down and she's like, okay, we got your SAT scores, and I'll go ahead and start off with what you could do. She said, based on these right here, you can go to a community college, and when you go to a community college for like 2 years, then you can transfer to like a university if your grades are high enough. And I was like, okay. And so after that, she said, but right now you could be like a dishwasher, you could be a bus driver, you
What?
could be you could be a cashier. And after that right there, it was like my soul was leaving my body. I was like, what?
Oh
Like, wait
my
a minute.
goodness.
My mama works at Checkers. She been working at Checkers and she worked at Bojangles, and she ain't been able to take care of me and my brother. And so I know I'm not trying to do that. You know what I'm saying? I know I ain't trying to drive the bus because I know my friends gonna be cracking on me. Ain't nothing wrong with driving the bus, but I said, man, if I drive the bus, everybody gonna be talking about me, talking about, man, all the potential Larry got. He's over there driving the bus, and I'm sitting there and I ain't hear nothing else. I went home, and when I went home, I'm sitting on the bus now. I'm usually on the bus acting a plum fool. Like I'm on now. I'm the loudest one on there. The bus driver always got to sit me in the front of the thing. I'm sitting on the bus, just looking out the window, just like people saying,
Wow,
"Larry,
that
what's
got
wrong
you.
with you today?" Yeah, it got me,
Yeah,
man. It hit me like Mike
yeah,
Tyson hit somebody with a 1-2 punch. And I got
yeah.
home and I had told my leaders at the time, which was Madia Mosley and Eric Mosley, and Madia, she was like super hard on me. You know what I'm saying? Like she didn't it don't matter if you say, yeah, man, my mama just died. What does the word say about that? Like what? Like wait a minute. So I so I told her, I said, hey look, man, I said, man, they just told me I can be a bus driver, I can be a dishwasher. And I said, man, she was like, Larry, you a
Mm.
man of God, you a man of favor. She was like, say it.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah.
like, it don't seem like I'm no man of favor. Like, what are you talking about? She was like, I gotta hear you say it. I said, okay, I'm a man of favor, man. She was like, look, you gotta say it like you believe it. So
Uh-huh.
I'm not gonna say that it turned around that day, but it took a few days for that stuff to turn around in my mind
Yeah,
for me to think
yeah,
about that.
yeah.
And so when it turned around in my mind, guess what? I had got a acceptance letter like a few weeks later that said I had been accepted to Alabama State University. Man, I looked in that mailbox, and when I looked in that mailbox, I ran all the way to my mama's job and gave her that letter. And I said, man, I finally got accepted in college. I ain't had no money. I ain't know what to do. I ain't know how to even apply for money to go to school. But I was like, man, I'm out of here. Got down to Alabama State,
Okay.
and it was next to the projects. I'm like, man. Yeah, cause on
Oh my
TV I'm
gosh,
thinking like, yeah, man,
goodness.
I'm about to go to Harvard, man. Yeah, I'm about to go. I'm about to be this something gonna be something totally different. I get down there to orientation, and somebody got shot the night before. I'm like,
Oh
God
boy.
Almighty. Yeah, man, it was crazy. So
Well, as a man thinking,
yeah, as a man thinking, so is he. So
that is.
you know your thoughts can change the direction of your life, and so let me end this story right here by saying this. So so about 3 years ago, I had purchased my first truck, and I'm riding now, and I'm in Laredo, Texas. And while I'm in Laredo, Texas, this thought comes to me like, boom, and I'm like, and I just hear my spirit saying, okay, Larry, you know what that counselor told you when you was a senior in high school? And I'm like, yeah.
Uh-huh.
She was
Come
like,
on.
you were gonna be a dishwasher. She was like, you could be a bus driver. She was like, well, you have been a dishwasher because you don't own your own restaurant. You don't have your own concession stand. And guess what? You don't own your own transportation company. So she was right in a sense, you know, because I went from just not being a dishwasher, but to owning a place where you can wash the dishes at, owning a restaurant,
Yeah.
and and owning a transportation company, you know. And so it's to go from where she put me at till where I am right now. It's like totally different, you know what I'm saying? In which I have progressed and changed from that where I was 3 years ago to where I'm like doing consulting and stuff now. But if I wouldn't have had, I always tell people this: if I wouldn't have had a mentor, which Eric
Talk
Mosley,
about it.
hands
Mm-hmm.
down, number one
Mm-hmm.
mentor in the world. You know, he may not be famous. Everybody may not know him. He may not be E.T. the hip hop preacher. He may not be Gary V, and he may not be T.D. Jakes. But number one mentor in the world for me was Eric Mosby, because he was there for me. He showed me love. He didn't have $1 million in the bank. He couldn't do everything for me. One tool I think he gave me was, and I think this is his main thing, like, hey, if I can get you to the point to where you can hear the Lord for yourself, hey, my job is done. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
Because if you can hear God for yourself, He can lead you. You
Right.
can have wisdom. You can listen to wisdom. You can listen
Right.
to what He needs to say, because He's the one who's gonna be able to lead you anyway. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
being able to have him, and I had other people in my life that were mentors too. You know, people that I could talk to, and people that would be there for me. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah.
So there's value in the community. There's value in the community. There's value in the village, right? It makes a difference. Am I right about it?
It does. It makes a difference, a whole difference, a huge difference.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Well, now we're gonna move on so we can keep our minutes together, because it's a lot. I just want you to touch on. It's just so good. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know I can talk forever. So
But listen, you
yeah,
did good though. You broke it down so that we can now launch into your
yeah,
successes, okay? Because it's important for people to understand
yeah.
how important the village is. And a lot of people will say that the village tried,
It is
they
very
made the
important.
choices, and then when they made the choices, they had to come back and pick up on what the village had stated. And then guess what? Rewards come when you pay attention to good people in your life. So now let's
Hmm.
talk about family. You are a husband and a father, is that
Yes,
right?
I am.
I met your beautiful wife, and I think I met one of the children.
Uh-huh.
Now tell me, how does the children look at daddy? Like their hero?
Yeah, you know, they look at me like I'm a cornball, you know, cause it's always jokes and stuff like that. But
Yes,
they look
I
at me
can
as
imagine.
they look at me as a leader also, you
Right.
know, and a lecturer. So yes, I do have a wife, and I have two kids, and I always like to pour into them. They know me as the lecturer. They know me as the funny guy. They know me as the person that's always gonna try to uh, make them laugh and stuff like that. But I always try to make sure that I'm giving them information that will keep them from going down the same path that I went down.
That was going to be my next question. I'm so grateful that you brought that up. What would you tell your children? What is it that you would share with your children? Are they boys and girls, or boys and
It's a
girls?
boy and a girl. Yeah, yeah. So my
Okay.
son, he's 13. My daughter, she's 11. So
Okay.
I always tell them like, man, you got plenty of opportunities and you got plenty of potential, but just because you got potential and you got opportunities, don't mean that you get to take the easy way out. You still got to put
Mm,
hard work in there. You see
yeah.
what I'm saying? And so what I try to do is I try to give, and see, we're in the midst of something right now where I'm trying to give them everything I can give them, everything that I didn't have, like financial advice, entrepreneurial advice, a relationship with God. You know, both of my kids are saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost. You know,
All right now.
so
All right.
as and so both of my kids, they know how to hear God for themselves. Um, and also, I also try to give them the wisdom part of it, because, hey, look, you can you can you can have God and you can have the Holy Ghost and you can have everything, but if you don't use that what you have, he's not gonna magically happen. And I always tell
Mhm.
people like this right here. God didn't, you know, I done had the restaurant business, but God never came down one time and put ribs on the grill for me and cooked them. He gave
Say
me the
that.
ability to do that. And so a lot of times we don't have any balance with what we're doing. And I'm so glad now that we have balance. And even sometimes when I can't do something, my brother, he can step up and say something to him in a different way. Or I got friends that can step up and say something to the kids in a different way to make them understand. But and they may seem like, man, dad is hard on us, but I always try to let them know, hey, look, even though it may seem like I'm hard on you, guess what? You are a blessing.
Okay, we have touched on relationship with God. We touched on entrepreneurship. We've also touched on, the importance of, I guess, being that influence where your children are concerned. With
Yeah,
your business, you traveling. You are a traveling consultant. Is that right?
yeah, yes.
Okay, so how is it that you're able to be that influence in your children's lives, seeing that you travel? Are you home daily or weekly? How does that work? How is it you and your wife is able to partner as parents, and making sure that the children are getting balanced time with both of you,
Okay,
and
first of all,
under your influence?
yes, yes. So first of all, we thank God for technology like FaceTime and Duo, because I'm not able to be home every day. Sometimes I may be home every week. Sometimes it may be every other week, and I may be home for a few days here and there. And so, or I may pass through the house and may be home for a night or something like that. So, with our parenting style, we have to make sure that we're on one accord all the time. You
Okay.
know, uh, we got to make sure we're on one accord all the time. I also got to make sure that I'm talking to my kids every day, because I don't want it to be where I'm going out here and I'm saving the whole world, and my kids go to hell, you know what I'm saying? And they end up disowning God or whatever. I know people say you can't control what your kids do, but at the same time, you can control what's coming into their spirit and stuff like
That's
that
right.
at a time like this right here. And so
That's right.
we try to stay on the phone with them, and talk to them, and let them talk. It's not always
Yes.
about, hey, look, man, you got to do
Right.
this, you got to do
Right.
this better, man.
Right.
Like, yeah, my son is like, he's like a scientific guy, and so he'll be like, hey, dad, have you ever thought about the analytical structure of a zebra? And I'm thinking like, dude, no, like,
All
I
right.
never thought about that. Did you know that the human head weighs more than this? Like, no, like we never thought about that. But see, the thing is, he's so far. My kids are so far from the mind state that I had when I was coming up. Because when I was their age, I was trying to find me a girlfriend. I was trying to find me somebody to get laid up with at the age of
Mm-hmm.
13. I was trying to find me
Mm-hmm.
some money. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So we would run around breaking in people's houses and selling dope and stealing
Mm-hmm.
cars and stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they totally different from where I am, and I'm so glad I get to listen to them, and not only listen to them, but give them advice that will be able to help them in the future, because my kids are leaders, and I have to treat them as such, and they know that they need to be treated as such, since they are leaders.
I can tell already the influence of your village, the impact that it had on you being a father. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Because see, you're not talking about anything that your children are emulating based off of what you was raised under through your parents. It's
Hmm.
based off of this new thing that you came to be aware of by being mentored by such people. So I just, I thank God
Yeah.
for that for you. So let's go ahead and talk about your book. I want to
Okay.
talk about your book, and I want to talk about you being a consultant. As a consultant, are you a consultant outside of finances? Is it just for business?
Yeah, it's just like for entrepreneurs. I do trucking consulting, and so like on Instagram you can find me at the trucking consultant. That's my
Okay,
name, THE
okay.
Trucking Consultant. So I do a lot of consulting when it comes to people that want to be owner operators, and teaching people how to make more money as an owner operator, as a trucker,
Mm-hmm.
and also do a lot of marketing consultations too, helping people with social media. And like during this time right here, it's been a lot of consulting going on, to where you got the churches and stuff, and you got the ministries, and you got people like that right there that switched over, and they just started doing marketing and stuff like that, and they just started getting online and doing social media, and
Mm.
people need to know how to set themselves up. So I can teach you how to do that on a shoestring budget. And and like a lot of people, I said, man, we ain't got nobody in the church that know how to do it. It's somebody in the church that know how to do it. The I like the thing, the field of dreams, because if you build it, they will come. If you put the platform out there and introduce it to people, people will show up. And so I do a lot of marketing consulting, and I also do a lot of trucking consulting too.
What inspired that?
What inspired that? Well, I didn't have anybody. I was looking around when I was trying to do something. When I was trying to get my own truck and just trying to figure out what I needed to do, I never had anybody to call and say, "Hey, look, man, what kind of truck should I get, or what company should I go to, or how should I budget my money, or how should I do this right here?" So I never had anybody do that. So somebody had called me one day and said, "Hey, look, man, can you teach me how to do this?" Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll teach you how to do it. And so I told him everything that I did. And so then after that, I had one guy that showed me. I had a company if you put our company in your YouTube videos, which you can find me on YouTube at L Boogie. But they said if you could put our content in there, and people start getting referred by you to the company, we'll give you a check. And so I was like, say word. And so I tried it out, and I seen a check show up in the mail for $200, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm gonna do this again. So I started doing it some more. So then I started doing some consulting, and so my consulting started going. And so I used to be on the phone. One time I was on the phone for like 8,000 minutes in 1 month. It was crazy. Just on the phone, talking to people, teaching people how to become an owner operator, teaching people how to do different things. So then after that, I just switched it up, and people kept telling me, "Man, you need to charge for this information," and so or just charge for your time anyway. So I went up and I started charging like $150 for 30 minutes, and people was paying it. So I was like, well, hey, it's good. And so the way the marketing came about was I've been doing marketing since before I even saved, but didn't know I was doing it.
Right.
Because I used to always be like, man, like it should be more people at church than what we got at church right now. Like I hate seeing the same people at church. It should be more people at church. Why do we have empty pews in here and all these people need Jesus? And so I would invite people to come to church and stuff like that, and try to get different ways to invite people to come to church and stuff like that. And I would just think off the cuff or whatever. And that thinking off the cuff like that, it drew people to come to church and stuff like that, and so forth. So to the point to where when I was in college, I had a Bible study that started off with 2 people. That's when I was at Jacksonville State. Started off with my roommate, and then from me and my roommate, we had it started growing every week. And you can see this in the book right here. And we grew to like having 70-something people on a Tuesday night on a college campus. You see what I'm saying? And at that time, I'm looking at myself like I don't consider myself now to be the greatest speaker, but I wasn't singing a song or nothing. I was just sitting over there, just had a Bible and said, okay, y'all, we're going to come from Job today, or we're coming from Matthew today. And I would sit there and I would teach for an hour. And then after that, people get saved and healed and stuff. And so it was crazy. So
straight up evangelism.
Yeah. And so I just started teaching people how to do that, and teaching people. And then like all the marketing that I know, I can never take credit for it, because everything I know about SEO and all this stuff like that, God gave it to me in a dream. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And so all the marketing and different things like that I know, like all the marketing principles and stuff, like God gave it to me. And I use scriptures. Like you can come out with a platform tomorrow, a platform just like Facebook, and I could teach you principles from the Bible that's going to be able to stand the test of time. It don't matter if you was on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, Google Plus, MySpace, or whatever. I can teach you. It's principles from the Bible that will teach you how to grow a following, or how to market your business in the correct way. And which I'm working on the book right now, and y'all should be on the lookout for it. Called Fishers of Men.
That's going to be a great book.
Yeah, it's secrets it's secrets that come from the #1 best-selling book in the Bible, and plus it comes from it teaches you how Jesus and the 12 first network marketers got together and with the gospel and just blew it out the water. Yeah,
didn't they do it?
Hey, glory.
So you listen at you. You know what? This here is, I think it's a bestseller. because people are looking for true principles. They're looking for principles that outlast all this other yada yada that's going on.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I wish you the best. I wish you the best on that. I know that it's going to happen for you. Let's talk
yeah.
about that book. I want to finish out our time talking about the book. What
Okay.
inspired you to write this book, A Conqueror, More Than a Conqueror?
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you what inspired me to write this book. So I got educators all around me. My friends are educators. I got some people that are assistant principals. My wife was a parapro at the time. Now she's a what do you call it? It's a domestic engineer. So
I'm
so
going to tell
she
her that you couldn't remember.
yeah, she's a domestic engineer. I try to remember the technical term, So she's a housewife.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, more than a conqueror. I had went to school one time and I was doing some mentoring, and it was crazy because I had these students that would just always make excuses, say, "Man, these teachers don't like me, man. I know what racism look like. I know what being a fool look like too. You're being a fool. They're not being racist because they ain't got to work here. They can work 5 minutes down the road at another school." And so they would make so many excuses for why they couldn't be successful, why they couldn't pass classes and stuff like that. And so one day I was in Montgomery, Alabama, and I had just dropped somebody off, dropped off a load or whatever. And so when I dropped off this load, I was sitting there just talking to myself, and I'm sitting there like, you making up all these excuses. Like I can remember a time in my life when this, that, this had happened, and I still conquered it, and I still overcame it. And guess what? I done been there. And so I wrote this book to people who had issues at school, who had issues at home. I wrote this book to people who want to be who was wanting to be entrepreneurs and step out and do something different. I wrote this book to people who had addictions, like I had a porn addiction, and so I had a lust addiction. I wrote this book to people like that so that they could get free, and so that they wouldn't be making excuses for why they're still in the muck and the mire, why they're still in in the shape that they're in. Because I was in the shape I was in for a long time because I was ashamed of what I had been through. Oh, it is quiet in here. I wish I had somebody to help me. But
I'm here.
I yeah, so I was ashamed of what I've been through. I mean, who wants to tell somebody that, man, yeah, I'm dealing with pornography right now, and I'm dealing with these sexual sin issues. Who wants to tell somebody that? You know what I'm saying?
When did
Like,
that
don't nobody.
start, though?
It started when I
What
was.
is the root? What is
It
the
started
root?
when. Okay, it started when I was in Head Start. A lot of people don't know what Head Start is. It's pre-K basically. So I was in pre-K, and I used to come home to the. I used to come home. I used to have a babysitter, and this babysitter, like, would they had somebody there, and that they would touch on me and molest me and stuff like that. And believe it or not, I liked it, but it was wrong. You know what I'm saying? And so
Mm-hmm.
it was a girl, and I ain't gonna say her name or nothing like that, or a lady or whatever. I ain't gonna say her name, but yeah, it started then, and from there it's like it opened up like my eyes to something, and I was chasing after something. It's like somebody who's trying to chase after a high and never get fixed. You know what I'm saying? And never get that fixed. So I was
Yeah.
always chasing after that. And buddy,
Yeah.
when you think you ain't gonna go to certain lengths and do certain things, but that sin will take you
Yeah.
further than you want to go and keep you longer than
Yeah.
you want to stay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And,
What
and if
type
you
of
don't have a village around you, like we're talking about now, if you don't have a village around you who you can really trust, man, you'll stay locked up. You'll stay in prison. You'll stay in chains, and you'll stay unproductive, and you won't be able to help nobody else out. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Well, I know that you're free because for you to be able to confess it and for you to be able to talk about it, it's freedom in that. You have to reveal it to
Yeah,
be healed. So you have to expose that thing, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying, to the light. So now, at what point did you feel so condemned with this? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm
Yeah,
sure you battled with it when you got saved. You know, we're
yeah,
only human.
yeah,
And that's like something that you possibly didn't want to share because it's like, man, I'm saved. Well, I'm still dealing with this. But
Yeah.
addictions are just what they are. They are addictions, and you got to be delivered. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yep.
So it's like, just because you get saved don't mean you're delivered from that thing. I tell people you can be saved and not delivered.
Yeah. 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 So
So what was your
I did.
breaking point? You know, what was your whole line of deliverance? Help somebody.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I got saved when I was 16, and that was like March 28, 1998. Okay. So it wasn't until 2011 that I got free from pornography. Uh, and now it was times during that I had went back and I had failed again, and did other stuff again. But and I was married at the time. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, man, like, how can I still be going through this and I'm saved and I'm married? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm,
it's like
mm-hmm,
it's like
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I can't talk about nobody else with their addiction. They may be struggling with crack, or they may be struggling
Mm-hmm.
with anxiety or whatever it may be
Yeah,
they're struggling with. I can't talk about nobody else or look down on them, because I got something
that's right.
that's like it's a private. I feel like a public success, but a private nightmare. You know what I'm saying? And so
Wow.
that's what it felt like all the time.
Right.
Until I got to the point to where I said, I was on the phone with somebody actually, and I was on the phone with this guy friend that I got, and we was talking on the phone. And while we was talking on the phone, I started sharing some stuff with him, and he had just went to work that night, and so. And he was at a job to where he was able to be on the phone or whatever. So I was talking to him, and man, I talked to him from like 10 o'clock that night till 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock that next morning, the whole time. And then that
Mm.
next night, we stayed on the phone the whole time. And I'm sitting over here talking to him, just telling him all the stuff that I had hidden and all the stuff that I haven't shared with people, because you don't know, like, people can be saved, but they cannot have tact with words, or tact with holding conversations, because just because I'm saved don't mean I want everybody to know. Like right now, I got tact. I'm not about to go out here and share uh the people that I used to mess with and stuff like that. Yeah, you remember such and such,
Right,
such, such.
right, right, right.
And some people don't have no tact like that. That's why it's a lot of people that's scared to even come out, because they can't trust nobody, because they think because somebody else done talked to them and said, well, I got to tell such and such about this so they can pray about it.
And you ain't got to say
And
who
then
it was.
yeah, and they and so are ashamed of what they've been through, and they keep it like that because they don't have no trusted person that they can go to and feel like they can reveal stuff to. And so I started becoming that trusted
Exactly.
person, and when I started becoming that trusted person, I had other people that was around me that I could talk to and say, hey, look, man, I'm dealing with this right now. You have to pray for me, or let me just talk to you for a minute. After I done talked to him, guess what? I feel 100% better. You know what I'm saying? I feel
Absolutely.
like the sin and the shame is not holding me and have me in handcuffs or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And so now I'm able to help somebody else. Now I found out that if I'm helping somebody else, I stay free from the thing, because the thing that you talk against is the thing that you
Come
can't
on now.
have. Okay? There's like people that talk against money and stuff. Everybody think we should be poor. Okay, if you think we should be poor, guess what? Those are the people who poor. You know what I'm saying? If you think you should be poor, always talk about money. Those are the people right there that's poor. You know what I'm saying? And so if you talk about sin, guess what? Those are a lot of the people that's usually not. Now you still have here and there the people that's slipping and tipping and dipping and stuff like that. But the thing, if you talk about it, you can stay free from it. You know what I'm saying? And so I
Absolutely.
usually help a lot of people. And the day that I told my testimony, and I had got up in church one day, and I said, look, man, I've been dealing with this right here ever since I was before, like 4 or 5 years old. I've been dealing with this right here, and now I'm like, it was 2011 when I did that. It seemed like all of a sudden, magically, people started calling me, wanting to know and be free from porn, from masturbation, from fornication, from adultery. And I'm like, how did you know? I just felt led to call you. And so it was men and women. It was pastors. It was bishops. It was people that you wouldn't think that was dealing with certain stuff. I was like, how did, like, what in the
You
world? And so
exposed it. You
Yeah,
exposed
and so,
it.
yeah, and so after that, I it was one girl that I had talked to, and then I said, you know, I'm not even gonna talk to her. I'm gonna refer her to somebody. You know what I'm saying? And so I started
Mm-hmm.
referring all the women to somebody, because I don't need you telling me, hey man, I got a problem with this right here. I may have a bad moment sometimes. Be like, oh
Right.
well, I know she like this, so you know,
Right. I
you know.
understand.
And so I started referring all the women to somebody else, but all the men, I talk to them, tell them, hey, look, this is what you need to do to get out, and it's a simple plan on how to get out. You just got to be accountable. And that's the 14-letter curse word that Christians don't like. Accountability.
Accountability.
Yeah, yeah. That's a cuss
You're
word
right
right there,
about
man.
it. You're right
And
about it. They feel
don't
like they're
nobody.
being guarded and watched. And I'm grown. I don't need
Yeah,
nobody to. But see that type of anxiety and that type of pushback is a sign that you still in a place where you need help. Let me love on you and help you. You might
yeah,
not like the way I'm doing it, but I'm trying to help you. I see you need my help.
yeah,
That's really the truth of the matter. Conversation, Larry, is so very important, and trust is important. I believe that there are a number of people that are just sitting on the edge, and they need a
hmm,
Larry. They need a Larry Cothran. They need someone that they
yeah,
can trust and they can talk to, that won't judge them, that won't
yeah.
condemn them, because we ain't got a hell or heaven to put nobody in. And
No,
I
no.
think it's important that we be mindful that God, he went to the cross for all of us.
Yeah,
Not a few of us, but all of us. And we need
yep,
to stop condemning people. We need to stop acting like we're okay, because we're not. It take one thing. It take
yeah,
us something. And then
yeah,
we fall again. Because he
yep,
said to die daily, repent,
yeah,
repent often. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? It's like this, it's work. It's
yeah,
work staying saved.
yeah. And you know what? If he said you need to die daily, if Paul said, "Hey, look, man, I die daily." If Paul said he died daily, why is he dying daily? Because something is rising back up in him. I can't get no help right now. It
You
is so
got
far.
some
You better
help.
stay
Look,
out of there, Larry.
head my
Stay out of there,
hand.
Cothran. Stay out of there, Cothran. They ain't ready for you.
Look at it
Cothran,
now.
back up out of there, Cothran. Yeah. So, so if he
Tell the
died,
truth, Catherine.
if he died daily, that means something was rising daily. You see what I'm saying? And
That
so
flesh
that
ain't no
flesh,
joke.
it ain't, because one of the things that you can do, like when I used to deal with the stuff I was dealing with, like after you get a release, guess what? Flesh stopped talking. You see what I'm saying? And it's quiet now. It ain't screaming at you no more like it was. Now, guess what you're left with? You're left with your thoughts, and you're like, oh man, why did I do that? Why did I do that? Until you get that itch again, until you get the itch again, and some of the most powerful times the clearest times I'd have never heard God was after some type of sinful act, after the flesh had been satisfied. Because guess who's there? It's just me and God. Because the flesh ain't screaming no more for a moment. You know what I'm saying? And so, but we don't have to get to the point to where we have to satisfy the flesh to hear God. We need to hear God first. We need to go ahead and kill the flesh. And once we kill the flesh, oh, watch out, Larry. Don't go in there. Don't go in there, Larry, because it's quiet in here. It's quiet in here right now. So we need to get to the place where we're always killing the flesh daily, and that means we need to stay out of situations that is going to cause our flesh to rise. And I
Talk
talk in the
about it.
book, I talk in the book about you need to know your triggers. It's
That's it
something
right
that
there. Owning that.
makes you, yeah, yeah. Because what may be a trigger for somebody else may not be a trigger for somebody else. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, right, right,
And so
right.
you may make me mad, and that make me want to go be with a woman or something. You see what I'm saying?
Right, right, right.
And somewhere down the line, uh, your flesh has equated anger to flesh or something. You know what I'm saying? And so you got to find out what you need to do to avoid those situations, or not even put yourself in a situation like that. Or if you find yourself in a situation like that, guess what? You need to find somebody that you could talk to, somebody that you could talk it out with, somebody that can pray with you. Because every day ain't gonna be no bed of roses, and some days it's a fight. And one of the things I never try to do, the only fight I try to fight is the good fight of faith. It never tells me in the Bible that I need to fight lust. It tells me to run, flee, fornication. I can't fight with that. I don't want to stay and fight with it because if I fight with it, guess what? I'm gonna probably lose. So I need to flee fornication. I can't stay there and fight with it. So you got to bring stuff into light. You got to reveal so that you can heal. Oh, it is quiet in here. Larry, stay out of there. Come back, Cothran. Come back, Cothran.
Hey!
Get out of there, Cothran. They ain't ready for you.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Well, we're going to get ready to close out. And what I want you to do at this time,
All right.
I want you to speak to someone that's on the fence. Speak to someone that's on the fence that's troubled, and they don't have a village. They're speaking to themselves. They're speaking into their own life. Another Larry. You know what? You can do this. You can do this. You just need to find the right people. You need to read motivational books. Now, this is what this person Larry is saying to himself. He's talking to himself. What he needs to do to come up out of this place. He also dealing with some weaknesses that he don't want. He just don't want it no more. But it's ride his back like a monkey. He dealing with some addictions that's troubling, and he don't trust nobody to talk to them about it. To help him get free. So I want you to talk to that Larry. Talk to that person and remind them that there is someone that they can trust. They can go to God. Remind them what they can do. To pay attention to triggers and be accountable to somebody. Be accountable to somebody. Let them know that their dream can become a reality.
Okay.
Talk to them, Larry.
So everything that you just said, I just confirmed all of that stuff right there. One of the things that you really need to understand is that you yourself are not an island. You're not an island. You can't do this by yourself. No one has done anything by themselves. Tyler Perry has a mentor. Oprah has a mentor. All these people that you see, they got people that they look above, that they look at that's above them in some type of area. Like I know a billionaire right now that talks to this guy that makes only a few $100,000 a year because he has something that he doesn't have, even though he's a billionaire. Just because you have money or just because you may have influence and fame and stuff like that, you still may need some substance from somewhere else to be able to keep you. So one of the things I want to encourage you to do is find somebody. But before you find somebody, you need to ask Jesus to be your Lord and Savior, and ask Him to lead and guide you, because that's what He would do. He will lead you, He will guide you, and you'll look up and ask Him to help you to recognize who the person is that you need to talk to, because it's probably going to be somebody who gets on your ever-loving nerves, and it's probably going to be somebody who you don't too much agree with, but they're good. It may be somebody that's good for you for the season. You see what I'm saying? Because I know people right now that we don't get along. They and you may say, man, Larry seems like he'll get along with everybody, but I don't get along with everybody. And so it may be somebody that's right there that you're right there, and you may not get along with them, but they may have what you need to get you to the next level. So you need to take a step back, not think that you're the only one out here on the island, and be willing to open up and be accountable to someone, and be willing to open up and say, you know what, I want to change what I'm doing. I want to, and not only just say it in word, but put some action into it. You see, and it's okay to have Jesus and a therapist. I don't have a therapist, but I do have people that I talk to. You see what I'm saying? And one thing I want to also encourage you to do, I want to encourage you that if you're like on the ropes right now, trying to think, man, is this business for me? I wanna jump out here. I want to start this, but I'm really scared. Guess what? Anything that you want to do, you can do it. I'm a living witness that God is no respecter of person. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. I'm not the brightest bulb in the box or whatever. But I put Jesus first, and once I put Jesus first, Jesus. He's opened up doors that no man can shut. He'll open up doors for you, can't nobody shut. He'll close doors for you, nobody can open again. And so they can't go back and dig up nothing that say, oh yeah, remember when he did that, or remember when he did that. No, I can tell you, remember what I did, And so you can do that same
Mm.
thing, but you gotta, but you can you can have that same freedom. You can have the same thing, but you just got to get rid of the shame. You got to get rid of the guilt, and you got to get rid of the things that's holding you back. And the only way you can get rid of that is by talking it out. You got to put Jesus in your life and let Him be the Lord of your life, and got to let Him lead you. And so I want to encourage you today. This is your boy L Boogie with the hoodie. You know I'm blessing the Lord, highly favored, excited about Jesus, excited about the Word of God. My cup is running over, and I still want some more, and I want you to too.
What's your social media handles, Larry? How can people reach you?
Instagram at the Trucking Consultant. Also, you can reach me on YouTube at L Boogie. You type in L Boogie, you see I got like 5,000 subscribers right now. But you type that in, and you'll see my picture pop up there, and you'll see some videos and
Okay.
stuff like that. So yeah, you can reach me on those two places right there.
Well, listen, I want to thank you for coming and sharing your transparency with Revealing Here Podcast Live. It
Yeah,
has been enlightening. It has been so hilarious. I appreciate your testimony. I appreciate the fact that you're able to bring such humor to where you've been and where you are. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? You are a
yeah,
free man. You are truly a free man. You have hit it today in sharing the importance of a relationship with the Lord. You have hit it today in sharing how important it is to have a village.
yeah, yeah.
Since all successful people have a village.
Yes, they do.
You just said it. Oprah, Tyler Perry, all of them have a village. Everybody
Yeah,
has a village. They might not all be from the school or from the gym or from some institution, but they can be neighbors. They can be to the
yeah,
church. They can be, family members. You just need some positive people in your life to remind you that who you are, because sometimes you
yes,
just don't know or you forgot. So I
yeah,
want to
yeah.
thank you for bringing that to the forefront. Please tell the people again how they can purchase your book, More Than a Conqueror.
So you can go to Amazon and purchase my book, More Than a Conqueror. You just type in More Than a Conqueror. You type in my name, and then after you purchase the book, make sure. I always tell people like this: you may want to get about 2 or 3 of them, but after you read the book, if I don't give you the book, if I don't put like autograph the book or whatever, um, you will know who that book needs to go to, because you're gonna be reading that book and be like, man, such and such need to hear this. Man, little Tony down the street need to hear this,
Yeah,
and Sarah across the block, she need to read this book right here. And so that's what I tell people to do. You gotta know who needs to read that book right there. So once you buy the book, give the book away so somebody else can read the book and be blessed by the book. And if you feel like getting like 100 books or more, or getting into the or getting like a whole pile of the books, hey, hit me up, let me know, and we can work something out. Because one of my visions is this right here, and I know we got to go. Then right after this, I'm gonna let you go. But one of my visions is this right here, and I plan on doing this sooner than later. But because I went to alternative school, when I went to alternative school, nobody came and spoke to us. Nobody came. It was crazy, man. I went when it was down there at Georgia School for the Deaf, and so nobody came and spoke to us. It was crazy in there. We got the cuss. People were smoking outside of the school and stuff like that. And so nobody came and gave us life. But one of the things I want to do, I want to go on an alternative school tour around America. I want to hit up every alternative school, give them hope, give them, give them a chance, give them a strategy, because just can't pull somebody out of something and say, hey man, you need to quit selling dope. Well, what
right,
else they
right.
gonna do? Give them something they can do. And so I want to
An
give people
alternative.
options. Yes, I want to give people options to make the same amount of money or more money doing something else where they don't have to go to prison, or where they don't have to risk their life, or risk their family or whatever. So yeah, I wanna go on that tour, and when I go on that tour, I want to be able to give out the books to the people that I'm speaking to at the group homes, at the schools, at the alternative schools, at the youth groups, no matter where I'm going, at the YDC, the Youth Detention Center. So yeah, I'm gonna be wanting a lot of people to partner and get that message out. So and teach people how to become overcomers and conquerors, and how they can better themselves.
Well, Larry, we have heard you today, and you have dropped some real nuggets. I want to thank you. Our motivation, of course, for today is that you can't heal what you don't reveal. I'm Coach Deb. Thank you so much for tuning in to Revealing Hill Facebook Live. I want you to make sure you reach out to Larry Cothran. Y'all reach out to him and support him. Make sure that you buy his book. Shout out to my co-host, First Lady Ashley. She couldn't be with us this morning. But of course, remember to love yourself, love everybody, and be an example. Have an amazing day. Thank you, Larry.